Greetings, family. It's your minister, Maricus, with another Bible recap video. I'm thankful for you all participating and for watching these videos, and I pray that they are encouraging to you, that they are inspiring, edifying to you in your walk with the Lord. Today, we're going to be looking at the book of Esther. The book of Esther. If you know anything about the book of Esther, it is widely known as the book where God's name is not mentioned. However, although God's name is not mentioned, his hand, his providential hand, is all throughout the book. You see the providence of God. You see the protection of God of his people from the beginning to the end of the book and through the ministry and life of a woman named Esther. And one of the things I love about the book of Esther, it is the author is really not known. It is not Esther herself, but it is someone who was probably living in the time of Esther, who wrote this powerful book of Esther's life and of her calling and of how God used her. And it just goes to show how God can use any and everybody. And I'm just thankful for this book. But as we look at the book of Esther, Esther is probably living at the time where after the Babylonian exile. So the Jews have been released under Cyrus's reign, and they are headed back. And she's living probably around this time. It is recorded that Esther was probably living, and the book was written between Ezra chapter 6 and 7. You remember Ezra was the scribe who brought the law of the Lord back to the people of God as they were coming out of Babylonian exile. So she's living around this time, and during this time, while she is living, the king Ahasuerus is in leadership at this time. He's the king of Persia, and he's ruling over the people at this point. And Esther, she is minding her own business while the king is wanting to admire, wanting to honor Queen Vashti. If you read the book of Esther, you remember Queen Vashti, and she doesn't show up to the banquet to be honored for her beauty. So the king is like, well, we cannot have this. This is unacceptable because others may think that they could go against the grain like Queen Vashti. So what does he do? He gets rid of her. He gets rid of Queen Vashti, and then so they need another queen. And now Mordecai, which is Esther's cousin, is already in the ranks with the king and with his servant Haman, and they don't know he's Jewish at this point. So he is in the ranks, and he is known in the community and all of these things. Well, Esther, she's mentioned to come be a queen. Now she does not know anything. This is not her life's calling. She didn't desire to be queen, but yet God is using her for a greater purpose beyond herself. He's actually using her to be able to save his people. So what happens is when Haman, which is a servant of the Persian king Ahasuerus, when he finds out that Mordecai is a Jew, he's upset, he's disturbed, he's disheartened because he feels that he was lied to, that he was deceived, and especially because Mordecai was in a position that Haman wanted, all of these emotions and feelings. So he makes a decree, sends it to the king to kill all the Jews, to kill every person, every ethnic Jew, from adults to children, kill all the Jews. And so Mordecai receives this. And they don't know Esther is a Jew because Mordecai told her not to inform them. So as Mordecai receives this news, he's devastated, and he's asking God, like, what are you going to do? How is this going? How are you going to fix this? And so Mordecai tells his cousin Esther. Now watch, God is working through all of this, y'all, behind the scenes. I've said it before that while we're trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. Mordecai is trying to figure out how God is going to fix it, what God is going to do, but God has already put Esther in position. So Mordecai goes to Esther in chapter 4, and he says, look, there's been a decree to kill all of us, to kill our entire race, our entire nation. And he says in chapter 4, verse number 14, perhaps God has elevated you, exalted you, or you've been brought to this place for such a time as this. Such a beautiful passage in Esther. It is known. It is one of the key passages because God has used her for such a time as this. And there are certain seasons and situations in our lives where we cannot see what God is doing at the beginning. But as time goes on, God is gracious enough to reveal little droplings and little evidences of how I was using you for this particular purpose. And then we come to the conclusion that God had me here for this reason. And that's such a beautiful thing. It's such a blessing that God gives us the privilege, the opportunity to see him working behind the scenes. And so he says that, look, perhaps you're here for such a time as this. So God is going to use Esther to go in and deliver her people, deliver God's people, that he's going to use her to deliver God's people, and she's going to go to the king and ask for the protection and safety of her people, of God's people. And one of the things, another key passage of Esther, and I love it, is when she says that if I perish, let me perish. So although she's afraid, and although it may cost her life to go on this mission to help save her people, she was willing to die for it. And that made me think, and I want to encourage you that as we live this Christian life, beloved, you and I have to have the same spirit of Esther, that if we perish for Christ, for the sake of Christ, let me perish, because we understand that if we suffer with him and if we die with him, we shall also be glorified and live with him. So I'm encouraged by Esther. I'm encouraged by her courage. I'm encouraged by her commitment. I'm encouraged by her tenacity and her faithfulness to God in spite of the risk, in spite of what could happen. She trusted God to take care of her, and if she were to die, then she said, "Let me die." And so I pray that we can all have that same courage and that same faith in trying seasons of our lives as well, in tough circumstances, when God is needing us to stand up for him, and when God is using us for his greater purpose and his greater good. Well, that's all for the book of Esther. I pray that you enjoyed your reading. I pray that you learned some things. Share with me on Sundays. Share with me if you got my phone number. Text me if you got my email. Shoot me an email. Let me know your findings, your gleanings from the book of Esther. Thank you all. Look forward to the next time we study together. God bless.